Namaste, welcome to Season 3, Episode 14 of TT Talks. My name is Suhaas, and today we have a special guest.
Namaste, my name is Swapna Sharma.
Perfect. And so, Dr. Sharma, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, a bit about myself, about me, through all my introduction on how to say it in public sphere. But the thing is, it's a long journey. If I go with my personal introduction, it will be a long introduction. But it's a long journey in academic world, and I feel as if I embarked on a long voyage. Coming from a small town in North India, studying throughout in Hindi medium, and coming in this world in U.S. academia, working here, senior lecturer of Hindi and as a program director. It's a very learning experience, but it was also quite challenging for me. And I think we were talking about that as a South Asian woman, how I feel and my challenges and experience. So I feel myself lucky that I'm working here, a South Indian woman, or a South Indian, sorry, not South Indian.
South Asian.
It's like South Asian. I'm working, I apologize for that. So as a South Asian, I'm working here for South Asia. So it gives me an opportunity to do things for my own country, to contribute my heritage to my heritage culture, language, and to express my view, and also since I'm working here, a lot of other people are working on South Asia, and I interact with students here learning Hindi, and also as a program director learning other languages. And not only that, I get chance to give my perspective or to tell about my culture and language. Also, I get chance to learn or understand their view towards my culture and language and their questions, which expand my horizon and my understanding across my culture and how people receive it.
Okay. So, how did you get started and become passionate about teaching Hindi in academia?
So actually, this was the plan, original plan when I was studying in India. I wanted to teach in Indian university, so I did not have any plan to go abroad or teach, and that is why I was also learning, as I told you, that everything in Hindi. And what happened that I got an opportunity. Some professor in Belgium contacted me to work with him for a Bhakti dictionary. And this Bhakti dictionary was not some ordinary dictionary, but when Westerners because a lot of Westerners are working on Indian religions and Indian literature. So when they are doing this, they face some difficulty to understand that literature, and because, for example, Kabir is a well-known name, and its literature has some hidden meanings. So when you are saying, for example, they are saying cat, it means illusion. So that kind of contextual meaning we needed to explain. So this dictionary is about that. So this is how I came to Belgium, and I started working there, and also did some other books or some translations and critical edition, and also that is what I was doing. But as I told you, that from the beginning, when I was growing up, I was thinking to become a university professor, lecturer. So that was the base. From the beginning, I had this thing. So somehow I came here, and then I was always thinking that I want to teach also. So I got one opportunity in Leipzig just for a semester. I taught there to see that I'm sitting and doing real serious research work. Can I still go in public and do that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, yes, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
This is how. So I did this, and then I was thinking to go back to India. It's always I'm thinking and planning to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my friends told me, "Oh, you can apply in Chicago," and I said, "No, I don't think that I'm going to US." And they said, "Oh, you don't have job right now. You can just apply and go. You don't have to take it if you don't want to." I said, "That's true."
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back, but I got this job, so I came back to Chicago, and this is just for a year.
Uh-huh.
The professor has gone for sabbatical, so I thought this is a good thing that if I don't want to stay, I can come back. It's not a long term.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how somehow the Yale thing came, and again people told me, "Why don't you apply? Why don't you apply?" And I landed at Yale in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically the beginning and how I am
Gotcha.
still
Mm-hmm.
working in this field. Of course, so as I told you that teaching, and because I did my master's and my PhD in Hindi, so definitely I wanted to teach Hindi. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So, when you were learning different cultures and teaching students Hindi and about Hinduism principles, did you face any challenges with people like recepting these ideas or anything like that?
Not really. I would say I love my students and they're quite understanding, and I think that I also try to make them understand it. If they have sometimes they have questions, so I always try to explain, and most of the time, luckily, I was able to convince what I want to say. And of course, you know that Hinduism, we are very open to receive questions and argue about that. So that's a healthy discussion we have sometimes, but I don't think that otherwise I faced any conflict or hot argument or anything like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what is your research about that you particularly delve in?
Yeah, so that is interesting. Also, like in the beginning, I was thinking to do something about modern Hindi literature, but suddenly, things happens in life, and I started thinking about doing it's like traditional medieval poetry.
Okay.
From like Bhakti period, and then I realized that I should work on a poet nobody has worked, because we have a lot of famous poets in Krishna Bhakti and Ram Bhakti, Tulsidas, Surdas. Everybody is doing research. A lot of research has done, and I'm not saying that they have vast literature and from different perspective you can keep going on researching. But I thought there are a lot of, because I'm from Vrindavan and it's a religious town, and I got also chance to know a little bit about these not so well-known poets and things. So then I picked this poet. This is belongs to Chaitanya Sampradaya, which is one of the Krishna Bhakti schools. Because you know that we have different sampradayas or schools of bhakti. In Krishna Bhakti, they have different philosophies and all. So this is how. So then I found it very interesting, and very interesting that he was not originally from North India. He was from Andhra Vellanad, and but during the Bhakti movement, a lot of people, a lot of Krishna Bhaktas moved to Vrindavan or in that Braj area. It was a very interesting story how he came. But so I worked on him and his tradition, which is still alive. So this is how, and so then I still, since I'm teaching Hindi, I don't get enough time to do research. But in future also, I always wants to work on poets still hidden in manuscripts, and did wonderful job to bring them.
Are you aware of any other poets that you might be interested in researching more?
Yeah. The other one, I'm also started working on other two poets, which is one of them is from his family, from his tradition, and they all wrote in Braj Bhasha, and they were amazing scholars of Srimad Bhagavatam and Sanskrit and all that. and Indian philosophy, and the other poet from the same Chaitanya tradition, because I'm focusing right now on that, because it's a vast field, and if you exploring all different things, then I might get lost. So that is why I thought that focus on one thing and maybe later.
Okay, gotcha. So why do you think people should understand these philosophies and messages from these poets in the past? Like, how would they be relevant to the contemporary world if they were written like a long time back?
So, these emotions, feelings, devotion, these are the qualities, or these are the things that always existed in human lives, and they always will be there, because there are some like eternal things there. And when they are because these poets are speaking from their heart and their real experiences, and spiritual or otherwise, a lot of then I think it's always relevant, and people get some knowledge or some direction or guidance from them. So I would say that they are always relevant.
Okay.
Because they were also, like our Indian tradition, very inclusive, talking about like welfare of everyone, giving some good directions. And also, if you are a devotee, then also a lot of good, like how to say, glimpse you get about that.
Okay. And do you know of any contemporary poets that are also very that have very good mindsets and philosophies as well?
Poets like in modern India, you're saying? Yeah,
Yes.
there are a lot of poets that they did wonderful job. And in Hindi also, I particularly in modern in India, I like Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, Suryananda Tripathi Nirala, and many more, Sachidanand and Sachidanand. Hiranand Vatsan Agge, I think his name, and a lot of other poets. So, especially Dinkar, because I also worked as like my MA thesis, I worked on Dinkar and Nirala's poetry, and he is one of the poets who picked the like stories from Puranic literature and old Indian culture, and wrote a lot about, but also made them more relevant in today's context. For example, talking about, he wrote a very nice poetry book, Rashmirati, which is also very popular these days. All like if you open Hindi media and all, you will find it. But the way he presented the character of Karna and have sympathy and bringing a lot of topics very much relevant in today's context. For example, her mother just left him in the river and somebody else. So nowadays also a lot of people are just leaving their kids on like in front of some temple, or they are going to the orphanage. They have like a lot of questions about their life and things. So those things, many other things also about caste and society and injustice. These people, he in a modern way, he brought all these issues very like wisely and very in a very interesting way. That is why it's relevant, and people nowadays love reciting those lines and feel that they can connect easily with it.
Okay, gotcha. So you mentioned how you went to a Hindi medium school when you were growing up, correct?
Yeah, because as I told you that I don't have like living in Vrindavan whole life. Mostly there were Hindi medium schools were there, so it was not an issue that nowadays this generation maybe in Vrindavan also they are going to convents and all. I don't know, maybe some other people were going, but that was the natural way that my parents felt that good school, it's not a medium, and have to go in English medium. And school is good, but this is how I landed.
Gotcha.
Studying in Hindi, and later, as I told you, that I was thinking I'm teaching Hindi, so Hindi will be taught in Hindi. I never thought that Hindi I have to teach in
English, yeah.
US, and language will be English,
Uh-huh.
like the instructional language and things like that. Though, of course, I also teach it like Hindi in Hindi when it comes to the advanced level. But yeah, basic instructions you need to teach the English.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm from Telangana actually. So a lot of my family and friends, they speak Telugu, and so they're kind of deciding on whether they should go to a Telugu medium school or English medium school, because it's for on one side it's important to also have your Telugu background and like your mother tongue, but it's also important to have like English skills, so you're able to communicate with international people, and since English is more widely used. So what is your opinion about people choosing more English medium schools rather than like their mother tongue language heritage schools?
I think now it's time to come over with this like fear that, oh my God, our kids will not learn English, because now this English is everywhere in atmosphere, and if they are and it's not that if you are going to Telugu medium or Hindi medium and other medium schools that they will not teach English later. Of course, now, and when I was studying, and maybe now level will be different, and even in small towns. So I think the like learning your mother tongue, your own language, is very important. It's very important to give you a stronger foundation, because your roots. If your roots are weak, then your personality something will be lacking. So this is my personal opinion. Maybe people are very successful otherwise also not doing this. But I think, yeah, of course, we cannot say that we don't need English. Of course, we all need to learn English. But people should not fear anymore to put their kids. Maybe if we don't have very good schools in like local languages, the medium is local language or like our regional language, we need to build that up and to to improve the education system there. But I think everybody should learn his or her mother tongue.
Okay, gotcha. So what is your opinion about more Hindi speaking actors and actresses entering like Western media, like movies, films? Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's developing stereotypes when it comes to Indian people or anything like that?
You know that one thing that I did not study this field and I don't know why they are coming, but I think it's not a bad thing to explore the other world and coming to the other and learn from there. But just thinking that is like comparing that way, that this is superior and inferior, that kind of mindset I don't encourage like that, thinking in that direction, you can say. So, but it is a good thing, but that this is happening, it's not like maybe colonial hangover or whatever you can call it, that we always wanted to we see Western media, Western literature, Western thoughts, books as like to prove us that if we can prove through them, then we are perfect. So I'm not saying that West has given a lot. That is why we are here. I don't want to criticize that. But what I'm saying that we need to be more confident, and we also have a lot of good things, a very rich heritage and things. We should also start value it, and of course we should read and appreciate and or give our opinions on all kind of different literature and societies and study them. But we don't need any approval from other or West or any other culture to prove ourselves good or bad or something. So that if you're coming because that is the last goal, that if you are in Western film industry or related to Western media and things, then only you are good. I don't think that is true.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to ask that question because I don't remember what movie I was watching, but there was some Hindi and I think other South Asian characters in this series, and some like there was a lot of stereotypes associated with characters like that. They were portraying them in a negative way, in a very stereotypical Indian way, and I feel like that causes a lot of friction between the West and then the India region because it's not portraying individuals with the right respect and culture.
Yeah, that is, I agree with you. What we call stereotype image we are creating, and you see, so that is why I think that need to be changed because we have a lot of other things to offer and to share with the world, with the rest of the world, apart from just showing some rituals, showing some just stereotype images. To the Western world that India is about only sari or mehdi or or whatever, and many other things not coming in my mind. Right?
Gotcha. Have you watched Never Have I Ever actually?
Yeah, I watched it and I long ago, so I cannot say everything, but I think I liked it in a way that there are some issues, maybe not everything, but I like the way the struggle they were showing between two generations because this was very common that parents when their kids are growing in this society they are more conscious they should means they are studying here and then their mindset is different and they are still their thinking is Indian, so there's a clash between that and that I think also try to show in that, but I would say now we need to also move forward because now this is kind of third generation is coming up, and the first generation was really very scared or worried and very conscious to like to sustain in this environment. But the second generation has changed, and now third generation is also more confident, and I think. That is, I can see also through my students that how it is changing since I came here, and now the third generation Indians, and also I see a good change that they are more curious and I think willing to also in a way willing to learn about their own heritage culture, and I see it through like the heritage accelerated Hindi classes, which is like usually heritage students are coming and this is like they can speak a little bit and understand Hindi but they don't know how to read and write, but now that number has increased that people understand and speak Hindi. So I see that this is a good change that so I think it takes time, it's a process people go through, but of course since now it's the global world, people aware of each other's culture and things, and if we see something that need to improve which like belongs to us or we know better, we should improve that, and I think a lot of improvement can be done whatever is shown in on media or yeah about India or South Asian culture.
Gotcha. So do you think that all universities and institutions should offer Hindi classes as like world languages courses?
I would be happy if they do that because also, India is a growing economy, emerging market, and you know that the biggest populated country right now. So it's good for everyone. Of course, if I say that people might think that I'm Hindi speaker and teaching Hindi, and wants to promote, but I think it's a fact that it will be helpful for everyone, like students, the new generation, to learn a language which is so widely spoken and will help them to survive in this global world.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely very relevant. It's just if we introduce Hindi to a lot of these universities, we also have to introduce many other languages.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And and for that we need students, that new generation like
Mm-hmm.
you, to somehow to make them aware that their languages are their heritage culture, their languages are important and worth learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened sometimes, because Hindi and these languages are less commonly taught languages, so sometimes the problem is that for example, I'm teaching Hindi class and I'm just imagining, I don't know that I'm right or
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but and I have a limited number of students, which includes Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Bengali, Gujarati, all
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds students. And if we have so many languages, maybe even that little number will be it's divided in
Mm-hmm.
different things, and maybe none of them will survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying because of that you should not do that,
Mm-hmm.
but when we are opening things like that, so we need to, of course, need to introduce. And good thing is we are doing this, like at Yale, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We teach Hindi and Sanskrit in person,
Mm-hmm.
and used to teach Tamil, but because of that problem, like we don't have enough students,
Yeah.
not teaching it in person. But we have also in like these shared course initiatives. So we are teaching Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Malayalam, Bengali, a lot of other Tibetan, a lot of South Asian languages or other languages from other part of the world. And then it's shared initiative. It's like you are sitting on on computer, like online, but you are sitting in like real class time and
Okay.
learning from. So for example, if Brown is teaching some other language, our students will join them. And if we are teaching something they are not teaching in person, then so this is also a very good initiative right now. But definitely all these languages like you are teaching, Tamil, Telugu, they are very rich languages, Bengali, Urdu, everything, that it will be really the ideal situation if we can offer all of these languages as much as possible, and people can get benefit from each of
Mm-hmm.
the language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that's very cool, that joint connection, because from I go to Georgia Tech, and so we don't have any Hindi or South Asian languages that are offered. We used to have Hindi, but they did cut the program down. So we were thinking of possibly introducing Hindi, because we have a lot of interest from people, because there's a huge South Asian student body at Georgia Tech. So we were interested in reaching out to a professor so they should come back and teach intro level and intermediate Hindi courses.
Well, that's a wonderful thing, like if they can do that. And yeah, I think, and a lot of students I know, because as a language program director, I go through all these applications. So a lot of students are learning Telugu and Tamil and Urdu and Bengali as well. Like they are getting like benefit from these online courses. And some of them are learning Hindi in person, and they are learning their own mother tongue through these courses. And also we have like DILS program, that 1-to-1 people, they provide one tutor to, if you want to improve your language. So nowadays this is amazing, like also this digital world. I know that a lot of weird things are going on, but also it's very beneficiary if you make a good use of it, so people can learn more and can learn more about other cultures and new languages and so many things.
So do you think that the South Asian diaspora and new generation are struggling to preserve their culture and traditions?
So it depends. Like now I think, as I told you, the second generation, I would say, was struggling more. Because then exposure or this media existence in the same way was not there. But now, if you want, you can receive any information sitting anywhere in the world about any place or topic. So that way, there's a it's not. They are not struggling, but of course, this is a global word, and then your personal identity can be diminished. That is also the fact. So I think the role of a family is very important. If the family is like consciously nurture their kids about their own culture, make them aware, and give some basic guidance, then I think better chances to survive and to preserve your own culture.
Yes, that's for sure. Even if you learn the language, if you're not gonna interact with it, use it, and like watch films or anything like that in these languages, you're not gonna remember it.
Yeah, so that is also as a Hindi teacher, I also think this is a very important role. I don't know how far I'm successful, but I always try to do that. That students they don't do it to get credit, but they feel connected to the language they are learning, and also so this is usually, that is why our Hindi class is like very much like a family, and interaction between the students and things, so they can also continue after the class or outside the class. They can also interact and discuss things and share the same these new language concepts and problems and practice and everything they are able to do. So I try to do that to make connection among the students and friendly atmosphere in class. So learning language should be interesting thing. They should be interested. They should feel like they should come to the class, not, oh my God, I have to do this. So then maybe they will feel more connected and interested and curious about the Indian culture.
Gotcha. So what do you think would be some good ways for individuals to connect with their culture, connect with their mother tongue?
So as I told you, the first thing is that parents should allow them to speak or make this. I have seen some of my friends whose kids were growing in Europe or in US. They made this compulsory that there's a particular time you have to talk in your mother tongue. You have to discuss something. They also give them sometimes some homework. Okay, read this. We'll discuss this about the culture. Or every week, I saw one of my friends in Switzerland. He's asking his kids that talk to your grandparents in Hindi and also memorize one shlok or something and recite it and all those kind of things. And on the when you are having dinner, no German, nothing. You have to speak Hindi. I have seen my cousins' kids. They also speak Hindi when they are meeting like us and all those things. So I think the family can play a very important role. And of course, then there are a lot of things nowadays. As I told you, if they are in language classes and then they see some other students and how their parents did, and they see the difference. They are from same Hindi speaking families, but some can speak very good, some cannot. So then also they inspire, oh my God, how they did it. So that is maybe this is a lesson for them to for some improvement and to find some other ways. But yeah, these other things, like you have a lot of opportunities and resources nowadays you can take, but there are too many, so you have to pick that what you really want to, what is beneficiary. So always when you have a lot of choices, the crisis is what to pick and not to pick. So
Gotcha. So
that is
so as we're starting to close up and wrap up this podcast, do you have any advice that you want to tell our listeners or the new generation of Indian Americans, because those are who are going to be the ones that are going to be listening to this podcast? Do you have any advice for them and anything they should particularly understand, any philosophy or any lessons that you want to mention and talk to them about?
So, you know that we all talk about it right now. I'm saying that very good thing, I'm talking about Indian culture, and maybe in some way it exists in all in other cultures as well. So you might have heard at least a phrase from this shloka. We say, "Ayam nijaha paroveti, karana lagu chetasam, udar charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam." So we say that this is mine, that is others. This kind of calculation, the very narrow-minded people, they do it. for generous people, this whole world is a family.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have this, so also the teenager and young people, they need to be open and inclusive, because now we have more diverse societies and cultures and things. So to understand the whole world and like in a better way and to survive and like happily, I think this is very important to be inclusive and not only the particular this is good and this is bad. So that is very important. And of course we all need to be adopt whatever is going on, new culture, new ways of life, but roots are important. And if your roots are not strong, then somewhere you struggle with your identity. So it's not that you have to follow each and everything, but you should be aware and kind of inclusive that again. That, and also like you have too much, I think this generation has too much exposure to social media, mobile things. So you need to learn to balance things, that how much we use all these things and what other things are important for you, like I mean the personal relationships and things like that, apart from this digital world. I think this is also very important.
Yeah, as knowledge is power. So if you're aware about other people's backgrounds, aware about other people's cultures, you'll be able to just create a family out of everyone.
And I'm saying that this actually, and this generation growing in this world is very lucky. For example, like immigrants families, they are not only Indians, they are not only Americans, but they are growing with two different cultures simultaneously. So they can like contribute even more to this world. So they are very special. So they can do only thing is like balance and to take the right direction.
Making sure that you're balancing both backgrounds instead of favoring one over the other.
Yes, I think so.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma.
Thank you. It was really nice meeting you.
Of course. And actually, what courses do you specifically teach at Yale?
So actually, at the time I taught all the courses, but right now, so at Yale, so I have another colleague. We are teaching elementary, like 5 days a week class from scratch. They learn intermediate. So we call L1, L2 for like fall and spring semester, first year, and then L3, L4. So level 3, level 4, intermediate. And we have other track we call accelerated. So what other students, these students going through like all these 4 levels, other students who understand Hindi to some extent and can speak, not perfectly, but they can manage. But they don't know how to read and write. So they go to that track, and that is, what others are doing in 4 semesters, they are doing in 2 semesters. And then they are qualified to go to level 5, which is advanced level. And there in fall we teach, I teach like different units, let's say whatever relevant, for example, climate change, Indian culture, food and this, and music or whatever, and some history, something, whatever. And it depends, I keep changing that. I see the interest of students because that's important. So also the course or syllabus I change accordingly. So those things, and also in spring I teach more, like a lot of native speakers are taking Hindi at Yale, also coming from Mumbai, Delhi and other places. So, and these students who did already fall L5 courses, they can go to spring course, which is more advanced literature course. And not each spring I'm teaching the same course. So for example, last spring I taught internal migration and Hindi in diaspora, which is like people are migrating within the country and a lot of story and literature about that. And also when we talk about the diaspora, not only US diaspora, but also like Fiji, Suriname, and also I included a lot of things. Because this is very relevant for this generation who are, the generation is growing in this world, all migrant people's children. And this semester I will teach Bhakti and Bollywood.
Okay.
So I teach mostly, it is Bhakti course and all Bhakti poets and things, basically Indian, North Indian, but also how Bollywood how Bhakti influenced Bollywood. And so very interesting movies and songs, and so we discuss all that. And modern Hindi literature, the third like advanced course. So a lot of different courses we teach, tutorial 1 to 1. Like if students wants to study a particular topic and subject, so we also, so variety of courses. We have a lot of Yale also have Hindi debate. And then we have, I think this year we started cultural evening and holy celebrations and things. So we are trying to, and also like not only Hindi students, but Sanskrit students, and also trying to include the others, South Asian faculties and people are interested in maybe in future.
Gotcha. Then Bhakti in Bollywood, that seems such like a cool course.
Yeah, actually, and though in the beginning it was always a little challenging for me when I just joined Yale, because I did more research and high registered Hindi and to teach elementary course and coming down to that level was a learning experience. I always enjoy teaching. When I'm in the class, I forget the rest. So
cool.
So I think
That's so
how
we survive
in South Asia.
Well, that's so cool. Wow, you are so invested in Hindi culture and language. It's really inspiring to see. Wow.
Yeah, and I appreciate you that you it was not like your profession and things, but still you guys thought about this and you started and successfully teaching you Tamil, Telugu, and which is also very important to promote other languages in India, because that is the real representation of the whole India, unity, diversity. So that diversity should also be reflected, and when we are doing all this happens. So really, I appreciate, and as I told you, I'm very hopeful when you say that the lesson for teenagers or my advice. I see already teenagers are doing wonderful things, so I'm very hopeful that South Asia's future and our is very bright, and you and young generation will keep continuing doing these things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for the talk.
Thank you for coming to me.
Thank you. Namaste.